Hey guys, Kinetic Zero here, welcome back to yet another tutorial video. Now, if you read the title, you guys will clearly know that today I'm doing quite a high requested video from friends and just people on YouTube because they wanted to see the best OBS settings to use when recording with OBS. Now, the reason why a lot of people ask this is because they saw that I've been using OBS to record my previous tutorials. If you want to check them out, link will be in the description to the playlist. But yeah, and they were wondering, how do you get it so smooth, like the frame rate, everything, the quality, just how do you get it to look so nice, so smooth, the frames, the quality, just everything. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to show you a video, another tutorial video on how to do it. And also my friends asked me to make a tutorial video anyway. So for those out there who want to know the best OBS settings for recording games, your desktop, anything, then I'm showing you today. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. So I'm going to try and be as descriptive and I'm just going to try and explain as well as I can on the settings and stuff. But yeah, so obviously I'm recording with OBS right now and I'm in another OBS kind of tab. And once you're in OBS, that's if you've got OBS installed, just go into settings down here and just wait for it and settings will load up. As you can see, I'm just going to go down the tabs, you know, I'm just going to go through them by going down. But so obviously you'll automatically be on general when you click on settings. This doesn't really matter much, but the thing I'd focus on it's just for the appearance mainly of your OBS itself. As you can see, it's a theme dark, and if you're wondering what that is, it's kind of the dark theme in my OBS, whereas the default one is default, which looks like this, which I don't really like, and I think the dark one's just easier on the eyes, so I just go with dark, so we can move straight on to output. Now, our output's a really important one, okay, because it requires a lot of changing things around. So what you should be on your output mode is just simple. What you want to do is want to click on the output mode and click advanced, okay, and that should make things, well, it should give you a lot more options to choose from. So as you can see, streaming, like I said, don't really worry about streaming, so just move on to recording. So types, just leave standard, okay, there's nothing really to mess around with that. Recording path, if you're wondering what that is, it's just that when you record your videos, it's like a folder to direct you where to go. So if I click browse, as you can see, well, if I go to my videos, as you can see, other than all my games that are here for some reason, as you can see, I got a folder called OBS recordings, specifically for OBS recordings, and if I click select folder, it will direct all my recordings to the OBS recordings folder. And you don't really need this ticked, so don't worry about that. Your recording format should be defaultly set on FLV. Now, seeing as most editing softwares, things like YouTube and all of that, accept MP4, you want to click MP4, whereas an FLV file, I don't even think you can open to watch the video. So just make sure it's set on MP4, because MP4 for video and MP3 for like sound, like music, okay? Audio track, just leave one ticked, and encoder is kind of a big thing that I'm going to slightly go in depth with. So I can't remember what yours will be on. I think it might be use stream encoder, and when I click that, as you can see, all these options disappeared. Now, if you're wondering how all these options came up, it's because I have, in my laptop, I have an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050, which is a graphics card, and OBS actually can use that, and it can give me some extra settings, which is really cool. Now, if you don't have that, I think you should click, obviously if you don't have it, you won't see some in NVENC, so I think you click X264, and obviously there are less options, but well, the options are different, but they're kind of roughly the same. So if you've got X264, I don't really think you have to change anything here except bitrate. I think you have to change the bitrate on here to 40,000. If that doesn't really do anything, or if it makes it worse, just change it back to 2,500. The reason why I say that, is because on my NVIDIA one it's on 40,000 the bitrate, so that's why I'm saying it. But for those who do have an NVIDIA graphics card, you're in luck, because that means you have more options, meaning better quality and FPS rate and everything. So if you do have one, then look for the option NVENC, or it might just be an NV something, because NV I would think stands for NVIDIA, which just makes sense. So just if you have one like this, make sure you click on it. And as you can see, you might have things like this. Now the bitrate should be defaultly on 2500. Please make sure that you change that to 40,000 like I have. Everything else here should be just CBR, rate control, 0, default, main, auto, tick use, 2 pass encoding. Make sure your GPU is on 0 and your B frames is on 2. Now once you've got that, don't click apply yet, because we have got more to do. Make sure once you finish that, go to the little audio tab, like I said, streaming, we won't focus on. Now you can see your different tracks and your audio bit rates for each track. Make sure all your other, all of them should be set to 160. Make sure you change your track 1 to the highest one, which should be 320, okay? All of these others you don't really need to worry about, just trust me, don't worry about. So to make sure you change your track 1 audio bitrate to 320, leave all of the others 160, and you should be good to go. So as you can see, all of this is done now. Streaming, don't worry about, like I said. But moving on to audio. Now as you can see, I have a sample rate of 44.1. Now you might be wondering how you find out what your headset or mic or just microphone what you're using, how to find out what it is. Now this might not work for me, because when I tried opening it before, it wouldn't open, but it's lucky I know what my sample rate for my headset is anyway. So you got 2 options, 44.1 or 48. Way to find out is just right click on the little speaker button here, and you want to click recording devices. Now like I said, if I probably click on something, it will just freeze and close, but what should come up when you click on what you're using, which is my microphone USB audio device, or if you click on it and then click properties, it should come up with your sample rate, which mine is 44.1. If it is 48, then make sure you select your sample rate to be 48. If it's 44.1, make sure it's on 44.1. But let's just test to see if it will close. And as you can see, it's loading. It will probably close itself any moment. As you can see, it stopped working. I have no idea why this problem is happening, but I don't really need to worry about it as long as I know this myself. Just make sure your channels is stereo. Pretty much everything here you don't really need to change, except some things. So channel stereo, desktop audio device is default, and if you don't know what that is, it's just your desktop audio, so what you can hear on my computer itself, okay? And you don't really want to, just leave it on your default, okay? And if you disable it, it's just so you won't hear your desktop sounds. Okay, and desktop audio device 2, I think that could be for either an external sound for your computer, so it could be coming through my headset as well, or it could be if you have 2 screens, okay, so 2 monitors, say. But I'm using a laptop, which is obviously 1 screen, so I'll just leave it disabled. My mic/auxiliary audio device will probably be set on, I don't know, default, which is just my built-in laptop mic, which is really crap. So I want to, say a headset or mic you got plugged in, make sure you find what it's called, and mine's called microphone brackets USB audio device, so I'll click that. And mic auxiliary audio device 2 and 3 are basically similar to the desktop audio device 2. They're just external kind of other voice capture things, so you could have a headset on your head, a microphone below you, and just something else capturing your voice as well. So it's basically you can select more than one thing. So I could select my built-in computer mic, which is terrible, but still. So you can use more than one thing for both your desktop audio and your mic audio. But seeing as I just really don't want to go into much, if I don't really want to mess things up, so I'll just simply use my headset. Everything else, I wouldn't really worry about these things, so it's just like enable push to mute, so if you push a button it will mute your mic, and enable push to talk, so when you push a button, it will allow you to speak so they can hear you. Desktop audio is the same sort of thing. Push to mute like your sounds on your desktop, and push to talk is so you can hear things on your desktop. So I don't have any of these checked because they really are not needed. I'm not really going to be holding a button whilst I'm speaking right now, okay, or hold a button just to mute me. It just doesn't really seem right. So as you can see, take a quick look at these. I really didn't have to change anything except this and this, or it could be defaultly set on this, but still I have to make sure about that, and I have to change it to what my headset is. So now we've moved on. Well, now we finished audio, we can now move on to the video tab, going down again. Now I think your base canvas resolution should be set on what your default resolution is, but your output scaled resolution should say something different. What mine said was, like I said, the base canvas resolution was 1920 by 1080, but my output scaled resolution was 1280 by 720, which obviously my max resolution is 1920 by 1080, so I want both of them to be set to the highest resolution. And if you don't know what resolution means, it's kind of like the quality of your computer, the way it looks. Say if I had it a real small resolution, it would make things really pixelated and horrible, okay? So yeah, like I said, I want to change this, if it's defaultly on this, to my highest one. My old computer for some reason ran at 1280 at 720. I don't know if that's just its set resolution. But yeah, so if it was on my old computer, it probably would have only given me the options to do 1280 by 720 on both. But as you can see, mine goes up to 920 by 1080. So just do your highest resolution, because the higher the resolution, the higher the quality and the less pixels and stuff. Okay, so just do that. And the downscale filter should be defaultly set on. I think it says by cubic. I think it says bicubic, and in brackets sharpen scaling 16 samples. If you turn it up to 32 samples, because this really doesn't affect any lag in your video, why not turn it up to the highest setting to give it better quality, and it doesn't really slow down anything in your video. So just change it from 16 to 32 samples, okay? Now your common FPS value should be most likely defaultly set on 30. Now obviously most videos nowadays are in 60 FPS on YouTube, and you can really tell when something's in 30 FPS because it seems a bit more stuttery and laggy. So just make sure you turn it up to 60 FPS, okay? Like that. And now we've done video. Once again, 19 by 1080 for the base canvas resolution, 1920 by 1080 for the output scaled resolution. Lanczos, I don't really know how to say that, sharpen scaling 32 samples for the downscale filter, and 60 FPS for the common FPS values. So we're just going to skip hotkeys and go straight to advanced. Now there are quite a few things in advanced to change. So what the process priority in the general little tab here should be set to normal. What you want is just on above normal. I can't really remember what setting it to high does, but it's just like OBS's priority, so how well it will run. I think it means something like that. So it's basically its priority, just like running a game. You want to put it as its top priority so it will run faster, okay? So just click above normal. I wouldn't really go into much detail on why I didn't click high. Just put above normal, because I think maybe some computers might not be able to handle the high thing, and just leave it on above normal, okay? Just not really any questions, just yeah. Your renderer should be just direct 3D 11. Color format, mine, I think there is no NV12 on other computers. I might be completely wrong and I might be mistaken, so if I am, I'm sorry. Because once again, like I said before, NV kind of stands for NVIDIA, so I think it would be only on computers that have an NVIDIA graphics card. But if it doesn't have that, I think RGB is the best, because RGB is actually really good and it just makes your color scheme, or your color format in other words, look a hell of a lot nicer. And trust me, I should know, because you can change it on the PS4 and it really does make a difference. So I'm just going to have it on NV12 because that's the preset for me. YUV color space should be defaultly on 601. You want to turn it up to 709. And your YUV color range should be on partial. You want to set that up to full. So basically, your video, you just want, this is mainly focused on colors, so the way it looks in color, and you want it to look nice in color. So I turn all of these up the way I've done it. And your audio monitoring device is just default, okay, which is basically, I think it is my desktop itself, but just leave it on default unless you want to change it to speakers, or which the speakers are my speakers that I have plugged in, or my headset, but I'll just leave it on default. And also tick disable Windows audio ducking, just make sure you have that ticked. Recording, I wouldn't really worry about any of these things, so like file name formatting, don't worry about that. Make sure overwrite if file exists is unticked, and replay buffer, file name, prefix, replay, suffix, just nothing's there. Stream delay, just not ticked, and yeah, just a lot of these things here. You just, I'd say worry about this, the general and the video bit, and maybe the audio thing, and just don't worry about anything else here, okay? Because you really don't have to change anything here. So now we've gone through everything, like the general, not the stream, the output, forget the streaming though, the audio, video, not really the hotkeys, and the advanced. So once you've done all of that, you can, oh, I just realized it's set on partial, there we go. Once you've done all of that, just click apply, okay? And once again, if you set it on the dark theme, things will change, and you should really notice a quality difference in your OBS recordings. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, and if you did find this video helpful at all, please smash that like button and comment down below any other tutorials you want me to do, especially if you want to see a stream setting, so best settings on OBS for streaming. Okay, so yeah, like I said before, link in the description to my other tutorial, or the playlist of my other tutorial. And seeing as there's nothing to say but this is Kinetic Zero here. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I'm out. Peace.